name is Gerald Childress, and I do go by also the name of Mr. Shift Your Perspective and Yo Y-O Perspective. And I just added that in there just to kind of represent myself and where I'm from. Like, I'm from the street, I'm from that language, that talk. So, plus those are the individuals whom I was most aimed at and whom I believe most of my work is towards. So, with that being said, I want to get into this here. Domestic violence is a very, very, very serious topic. And honestly, it's one of those topics that I know for myself, I never considered me growing up. And I never even realized, honestly, that I never reflected on until really just not sitting over there. That there was a time where I was verbally abused. And because I grew up in an environment where I've seen my mother jumped on by my father and how it dealt, how it affected me, that's something I swore I'd never do. So while I had never been one to beat on a woman, I did it verbally. And I found myself in relationships as a young man, young teenager, young adult, actually dealing with women that needed healing as well. And so the reason why I say that is because it was a type of environment where the type of women I dealt with sought that out. She wasn't satisfied until she can get that out of me. And so with that being said, a lot of healing definitely needs to be done on a personal level with so many of us. And I believe that is a work that is non-ceasing because it's very embedded, it's very entrenched, it's a deeply rooted thing. We have things that we may be dealing with that we don't even realize we're dealing with. And, I would find myself sometimes talking to a group about something in my past, and it would bring me to tears at times. And I would wonder, why is this steady? Why when I talk about certain things, it makes me so emotional? Is it because I ain't healed from it, or is it because I'm just so grateful to be beyond that point? And I had concluded that most of it was gratitude, but I also understand that there are areas that I am constantly working on with myself. One of the things that I see as being a reason for domestic violence in our homes is miscommunication. And I found that under most situations, a lot of us don't take enough value into being properly understood, into being having a value for words, to the point to where I'm saying exactly what I mean. And I'm not just saying something and expecting you to understand what I mean. I've been in personal situations like that, and I've been ridiculed for understanding exactly what the person said, but that's not what they meant. The other part of communication is also listening to understand. I found that you can't possibly listen sincerely to understand if you're not asking questions. If you're not asking to make sure that you're understanding the person correctly before you respond. Right? So, with those two being one of the reasons that I found as being a reason for domestic violence, another being a lack of really understanding each other. And I'm not saying just understanding each other distinguished level of life. Understanding Pat for who he is, or understanding Mary for who she is. I'm saying, but even understanding the nature of how the man or the woman operates on a divine level. I'm saying like how he and she has been created. I'm taught that the man is by nature created as a maintainer and protector of her. Of who? When I say her, I'm saying all women, but particularly his one. A maintainer physically, spiritually, and financially. A maintainer. First and foremost, he has to be developed enough himself to be able to maintain her on a mental and spiritual level. So a lot of work needs to be done for the man. First and foremost, before he even begin to look her way. That's one area where we definitely gone wrong. Because she's a great responsibility. I'm talking that the woman is the second self of God. That she's created 1 degree beneath the Almighty so that she will seek him. And it is also explained that this is why a woman naturally gravitates to a man that's doing something, that's doing great things. He's working, he's producing. Why? Because she comes from a God that is always producing and doing something. Even if he is doing something negative. So if she is not, quote, healthy in her perspective, she still will gravitate to that. And this is why she also expects so much of him, of us. But one of the problems that happen with the male is that Satan has gotten him off of his post. We have been turned into something other than who we are. So I'm taught that it's not his fault for his condition. However, it's his fault if he remains that way. But he has been made into something other than who he is. He's abusing her. He's abusing his daughter. He's abusing his niece. And even though he may not even understand that divinely he's made to be a maintainer. Because a lot of brothers grow up wanting a woman who doing great things financially. She a doctor. Yeah, brother, man, yeah, she a doctor. Oh, brother, she a lawyer. Oh, yeah? You better get her. But what are you doing, bro? I know, I remember very clearly when I was definitely in middle school, that was a conversation. Brothers try to hook you up with sister because of what she got. Well, she got a car. I ain't got no car. So they telling me she got a car because you can use her car. And this is how Satan works. He makes him into something other than what he's supposed to be. So then a brother grows up, becoming a grown boy, still not having it in himself to drive his own self to the point to where he's producing and maintaining himself first before he begin to seek out and grab a woman that he got to be responsible for. Because everyone, I don't care how old she is, how young she is, no matter what kind of state of mind she may have, she is a financial responsibility. Everyone. little girls want little boys to buy something. He ain't finna get away either. The little boy she wants the candy. You gotta bring the candy. Where the candy at? I know my stepson, he like 15. He took his first girlfriend to the movie. I think how much we ended up giving that boy? I think we gave him like $100. And this was his first experience of him being so surprised at how much all that stuff cost him. Mm-hmm. He was like, he trying to penny pinch something. But that was a good experience for him. The nature of the woman has been created to be a consoler, a comfort. She's a life bearer. She breathes life into anything that she touches. You know why the sister is so much like us? It's because when she admires a man, she naturally would begin to absorb his traits and reproduce it in herself, even if it's negative. So, understanding his nature and her nature, when we go into a situation where he's not producing like he needs to be, and again, even if he's even aware of it or not, that this is what you're supposed to be doing, he's disturbed internally, but he don't know why. So you're dealing with a man that's in balance, and he comes out what we say emotionally, and he's seeking comfort from her, but again, she can't give comfort to somebody who's not producing. So she's disturbed because she's having to bear weight that she wasn't designed for. And this is another reason why in most marriages or relationships, in the home, we have all this disturbance going on. And it's because Satan is at work. You know, it's said that most of the fights that happen between him and her either happens in the bedroom or in the kitchen.
Wow, that's true.
It said that also the weapons that are typically used, if a weapon is used, is either a gun or a knife. The man typically grabs a gun. The woman typically grabs the knife. If it happens in the kitchen, or she may just run in there and get the knife. But those are the two ways that typically that this fight between each other, or murder, or whatever happens in the home typically happens. And when kids are involved, this is how they become an innocent victim. It's because they was just there. And when he went crazy or when she went crazy, the kids might naturally get into trying to stop it or maybe to defend mom. And now we got a child that has been caught up in the nonsense. So in closing, I just want to say that this is a topic that definitely requires a lot of time, but I'm sure with everybody here, we're gonna do it some justice. But first, getting ourselves right with the Most High first requirement. Because in doing that, we also are really learning to love who we are.
Right.
And with love itself, we begin to not deal with certain things, not allow certain things, not accept certain things. Removing alcohol from the dynamic, because that is also a factoring thing in this whole domestic issue in the home. Working better on our communication, talking to be understood, listening to understand. And that's a skill. That's something we gotta consciously work at. In general conversations with me and the brother, it don't matter how trivial the conversation may be, we have to use that time to really work on talking to be understood, to be properly, correctly understood, and listening to understand what a person is saying. And also, the more we understand ourselves, the better position we'll be in to corner those emotions that arise sometimes. Sometimes we get offended behind something we shouldn't even be offended by. That when you look at it a week later, it sounds stupid to even repeat it. But at that moment when it happened, it just seems so legit. But with all that being said, I appreciate your attention, time, peace and blessings.
Thank you.